All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's that time once again. It is time for Mild's Culture Plate. It is 6 p.m. Central, Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, and we have a full show for you today. I'm not really sure where it's going to go. I threw literally a bunch of clips and a bunch of stories together, and I didn't get a full in-depth dig on most of this stuff. So we'll kind of explore it together, and you'll kind of get my deeper reactions as we go. um as we always do here at Miles Culture Plate, if you say hello in the chat, like Shut Up I Can Cook did over on YouTube, welcome, Shut Up I Can Cook. I'm gonna toast you with a little whiskey. Today we've broke back out the Egan's Irish whiskey, matured in bourbon casks and aged 8 years. Good stuff, good stuff. Cookie wants me to cover the unbridled violence in New York City. Cheers, Cookie. Um, if you've got a specific story, feel free to send it, Cookie. I'll bring something up. I mean, I think a lot of the uh, the immigrants murdering and squatting and all that. I think I touched on some of that, but I'm not in New York, so I don't get to see the day in day out of what's going on in New York. So, but if you have a specific story, feel free to send it to me or leave it on my locals or my Twitter or even down in a comment there on YouTube. Okay, we're gonna start off with a couple of opposite news stories from each other, just because these are things that need to be said quickly and harshly. First off, very sad news for those of us in the YouTube comic book community. Ed Piskor, this is from Entertainment Weekly. Ed Piskor, comic artist and YouTube host, has unfortunately deleted himself from the universe. Well, from Earth anyway, not the universe, but has deleted himself from Earth, from this plane of existence after a social media mob harassing him, accusing him of inappropriate sexual conduct. Ed Piskor was the artist on uh, X-Men Grand Design as well as Hip Hop Family Tree. He also was on the YouTube channel Comic Book Kayfabe, or Cartoonist Kayfabe. Excuse me, I knew that. I have brain farts whenever the camera gets turned on. Sanglin 86 says, and Rumble has you behind the veil. Cheers, brother. Yep. Okay. So yeah, be sure to say hi if you want to shout out and toast like Sanglane86 over on Rumble just got. Cheers to everyone out there. So here we go. Yeah, he also wrote and drew a series called Red Room. So pretty interesting pretty interesting dude. I watched a lot of the episodes of Cartoonist Kayfabe. He had a lot of good interviews on there. Anyway, so last week, a female artist posted on social media that Piskor had behaved inappropriate when she was underage, 17. On her Instagram story, she shared screenshots of DM conversations she had when she was 17 with Piskor via screenshots of the since expired stories archived by Comics Beat and Comic Watch. She wrote, "Okay, Ed Piskor's a effing creep. He likes high school girls and slid into my DMs when I was 17. I didn't know of him, and he found me simply by liking one of his pictures, sending me a post of myself in a schoolgirl uniform, calling me a cute, nerdy girl." And then other people piled on after that. Um, So yeah, there was a note, and I don't like to stand on the dead. I don't like to stand on the dead, so I'm not gonna read the note word for word, but we're gonna look into a few key portions of it here. Let's see, where's okay, let's read this part. Okay. So here we go. I'm sorry to my family for making such a mess, no pun intended, and for creating this hassle. I wasn't trying to be a creep. I'm also sorry to everyone who got this note and the baggage that may or may not come with it, depending how well we knew each other. I knew I wasn't going to be able to survive this. Comics is beyond a profession to me. It's everything. That might sound sad and pathetic to some, but this culture and medium gave me the greatest joy in life. No public statements would do. Nobody against me would be convinced. Maybe this drastic move will convince a few. Maybe it will get a couple more people to consider not joining online lynch mobs over gossip. Doubt it will have much of a blip. I'm not doing this out of guilt, though. Once again, it was super dumb chatting with Molly D. My intentions were never nefarious with her or anybody. I'm doing it out of intense shame. We're not built to have hundreds, maybe a few thousand people judging or harassing us at once. A private and solitary mind can't take it. And he goes on to call out Ramon Villalobos, Cam Del Rosario, JB Rowe, Molly Wright, etc., Alex DeCampi for bullying him. Don't go harass those people. Don't go harass those people. And then at the end of the note, he says, I was murdered by internet bullies, massive amounts of them. Some of you out there absolutely contributed to my death as you were entertaining yourself with gossip. I wasn't AI. I was a real human being. You chipped little bits of my self esteem away all week until I was vaporized. Maybe I'll be able to haunt you dorks as a ghost. I come from gypsy heritage and I'm definitely cursing a lot of you. This is the calmest I felt all week. It's over for me. I'm sorry for the hurt it'll cause my family and closest buds. I hope it makes people think twice when joining an internet feeding frenzy. There you have it. Control freak till the last. Peace out. Eddie P. Um, so I saw a screenshot uh, that insinuated that Jim Rugg had ended his working relationship with Ed on the last day there. I just want to say, folks, let me show this. Okay, this is at the end of the Entertainment Weekly article. They end it with this. Bring this up on the screen. Folks, if you're at your wit's end and you feel like you've been bullied and you have nowhere to turn, uh, you know, try calling this 1-800-273-TALK or text 741-741. I would tell you to message me here at Miles Culture Plate. Message me on X. All my social media is down in the description. There's not a lot of solutions when you feel like you're at wit's end, and there's not a lot a person can say to talk you out of it. But sometimes talking is just the start to being able to improve your outlook, to be able to improve yourself, and to be able to find a second chance. Please take that step before you take a step that will not allow you to take any further steps. Okay, so yeah, that's the sad news for the day. That's the initial sad news. Um, let's go on and get into some other not good news. Uh, well, this first one's good news for me. I just wanted to address this for just a moment because you folks know that I lived in Kansas City for a long time. At least long-term watchers of the show know that I lived in Kansas City for a long time. I've since moved, but I'm a sports fan. I'm still a fan of Kansas City sports, and there was a very important vote in Kansas City last night about the sports teams, and I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents here. Kansas City Chiefs and Royals futures in Kansas City is thrown for a loop after voters reject stadium tax plan. 58% of voters rejected the tax plan. Now I know a lot of you folks don't really care about Kansas City and have no real interest in this story, but this has long been a story that's kind of close to my heart, not just for Kansas City, but I continuously see these issues come up in every major city that has a sports franchise, where they turn to the taxpayers to fund new stadium builds or stadium improvements or stadium upgrades, and the voters in Jackson County in Kansas City had previously approved a 3/8 of a cent sales tax um, to continue to improve the stadiums. That sales tax was renewed around 2009, and the voters rejected a plan to put a rolling roof between the two stadiums. But the money for the upgrades of the two stadiums were improved. Shut Up I Can Cook says Mayor Adams got to go. New York Post says violent crime is the highest in 2 decades. Yep, yep. Hey, we got Bulldozer74 in the chat says not 3/5 tax. And then eyeballs. Yeah. So, this is one of those issues that for me is kind of like men's rights. And the feminist judges and all of these issues that we know it's happening. We know we're getting screwed, but yet it never makes big headlines except for here locally. You know, we have these headlines. This has been the talk of the city of Kansas City for the past several weeks, in which they want to tear down one of the top 10 most beautiful stadiums in baseball, allegedly because there's some rotten concrete underneath. Uh, there's some dispute over the concrete needing improvement, but they want to tear down Kauffman Stadium, which is considered one of the top 10 stadiums in baseball, if not one of the top 15 stadiums in sports. Um, it's a gorgeous ballpark. I love going there. And anyway, they want to tear this down and essentially put a new stadium right off the highway in the middle of downtown Kansas City, where there's no parking, where there's no traffic's already congested. There's no real baseball fans in the area. They all live in the suburbs, but they want to do it because it's close to the entertainment districts. Now, it doesn't make any sense to just not build entertainment districts out where the sports complex is in Kansas City. It's not. It's a 5-minute drive from downtown, and they wanted 40 years of a 3/8 cent tax, and voters rejected it because not just because they love Kauffman Stadium, but also because they love the neighborhood that they wanted to put the new stadium in. And yeah, so voters sometimes do the right thing if they're educated on a topic. They Oh shit, I still got the Love Does Admonish branding up on the screen. Just realized that. Sorry about that, folks. So the and if you're passionate enough, they did a lot of fear mongering that both teams would leave the city of Kansas City if this failed, and it failed. So we'll have to see what the billionaire sports team owners do in Kansas City. It'll be interesting. There's a lot of talk that the Royals are going to move to Nashville or Salt Lake City. We'll see. Those cities aren't going to. Those taxpayers are not going to pay to build a stadium for this losing franchise. Yeah, Sangland 86, gotta have fresh concrete to, quote, "take care of people." Yes. There are construction companies here locally that are known to be union mob fronts, but again, I say that as an opinion, not a fact. Okay, there was an earthquake in Taiwan that killed 9 and injured 1,000. Apparently, it stranded a bunch of miners, like rock quarries. 70 workers stranded at rock quarries, according to Taiwan's National Fire Agency. The roads to reach them were damaged by falling rocks. 6 workers are going to be airlifted on Thursday. Yeah, so prayers to everyone in Taiwan. Pretty interesting that this is going on while everyone's talking about the potential of World War III, including a Chinese attack on Taiwan. Shut up, I can cook says, who is taller, me or Mild? I'm 5'9". Well, I'm 5'10.5", so obviously me. Wear some heels. Okay, and then we have, speaking of World War III, we got a couple other stories. We have Ukraine lowering its conscription age to 25 to replenish its beleaguered troops. Ukraine lowered its draft eligible age for men from 27 to 25 on Wednesday, reflecting the strain that more than 2 years of war with Russia has put on its military and the need to infuse depleted ranks with new conscripts. President Zelensky signed 3 bills into law aimed at strengthening the country's beleaguered forces, which are trying to hold front lines in fighting that has sapped Ukraine's ranks and stores of weapons and ammo. The new laws, which will also do away with some draft exemptions and create an online registry for recruits, might add around 50,000 troops to the military, said Oksana Zabolotna, an analyst with the Center for United Actions, a government watchdog in Kyiv. That would be a tenth of the 500,000 additional troops that Zelensky said in December that the military wanted to mobilize. But after signing a security agreement with Finnish President Stubb in Kiev on Wednesday, Zelensky said an audit requested by Ukraine's newly appointed commander-in-chief determined that the 500,000 figure was wrong, partly because existing troops could be sent from the rear to the front. He didn't say why that option wasn't considered previously. I can say that Russia is preparing to mobilize an additional 300,000 military personnel on June 1st, Zelensky told reporters. So, yeah. Antonia Piluhina, the 49-year-old Kyiv mother of a 21-year-old son, says she opposed to lowering the draft age. Oh, imagine that. Bill Dozer said, F Ukraine. Cheers on that. Oh, yeah. Sangline 86 says, yeah, Cookie got the 12-inch fro, though. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's right. So I guess but maybe the 5'9" includes the foot fro, and she's like 4 foot. I need facts. Okay, so yeah, Russia's population is more than 3 times the size of Ukraine's, and President Putin has shown a willingness to force men to the front if not enough volunteer. So yeah, good luck to Ukraine. Let's see here. We have also in the World War. I just brought a lot of these news stories. I just picked a random source to bring it up because I just kind of wanted to touch on it. A lot of people are talking about Israel, the IDF, hitting the vehicle of the World Central Kitchen charity. What the heck is going on here? Keep clicking the wrong thing. So this is from Slate. What the World Central Kitchen killings tell us about the Israel-Hamas war. 2 Israeli airstrikes on Tuesday, one killing 7 food aid workers on a convoy in Gaza, another killing 7 officers of Iran's Revolutionary Guard at their country's embassy in Syria, could spark a new stage of this war, possibly worsening its misery and widening its scope. The incidents highlight with new urgency the need to bring this war to a rapid end, especially for outside powers, Arab and Western, to make it so before things spin out of control any further. Israel's attack on 3 vehicles of the World Central Kitchen, which has fed thousands of war victims and refugees in Gaza, Israel, and Ukraine and other areas in crisis, was unpardonable, whatever the findings of an official investigation into how it took place. in any case that has prompted WCK and other aid groups to suspend operations in Gaza, where even with the relief efforts, hunger and sanitary conditions are nearing catastrophic levels. Yeah, we don't really talk about this thing on YouTube there, Bill. But yeah, you are correct. So yeah, speaking of violence, let's go ahead and check this out. This is a tweet from the President of the United States of America last night. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-America. Donald Trump won't do what American president must do. He refuses to denounce political violence. I'll say what Trump won't. Political violence is never, ever acceptable in America. My man, our first 5 presidents were insurrectionists. Yes, Bulldozer. Rumble for the win. Okay. You know what, Bulldozer? You just gave me something else to talk about. So last Friday, every Friday, really, there's a popular show on YouTube where several anti-woke panelists get together to talk about pop culture. I'm not going to name the name of this show, but you probably know which show I'm talking about. I have low-key insulted them for months for their failure to use Rumble, to live stream to Rumble, to accept super chats on Rumble, and even to use Rumble as just a backup upload. I've clowned them consistently. So hang on, let me bring up this here on Twitter before I get too deeply into it, because I responded today. Check this out. Last week's episode was taken down by YouTube. Too hot or too stupid, you decide. And then they uploaded it to X. They uploaded it to X. Bill Dozer, thank you. Thank you for watching me right now, because I know when I went live, the quartering with special guest Styx Hexenhammer was still on. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for popping up in here. So yeah, at one point in time, that account was asked why they stopped streaming to Rumble, and they essentially said, "Yeah, we just don't make enough money to waste our time." Well, okay, enjoy your censorship, sir. Hope it serves you well. Hope it serves you well. Okay, so this next story might be a little up. Shut up, I can cook. Taking me to a pizza shop. Oh, taking my show to a pizza shop. Dang, I thought you were actually going to get me some pizza. I don't really eat pizza that often anymore since I started the diet. My eating habits really changed. Here's a video out of Kinney County, Texas, of a National Guard, Texas National Guard, getting stopped by uh, county sheriffs in Texas. Now, this National Guard troop officer, whatever you want to call it, or not officer, this National Guard serviceman here was part of the Operation Lone Star, meant to help improve security at the border. Let's see what this gentleman was doing about security at the border. They drag him out of the driver's seat. They handcuff him. Now, notice there's no one else in the vehicle. There's no one else in the vehicle, and that will be addressed here in just a moment. See the pointing?
Subject in custody. One driver, no other occupants inside the vehicle.
One driver, no other occupants.
Just west of the force.
Okay. That's not the video I thought it was. I watched a longer video. Hang on. Oh, here we go.
Out this way. Come on.
Okay, this is the other officer.
Turn around. Come on, behind your back. Why are you running, dude? I got very, very scared. Oh, what? Must be fucking red lights.
I know, I'm just very scared.
He's
Very,
a
very
driver.
scared.
Him.
Where the bodies? Don't jump them.
Yep.
One Hispanic male just took off south.
Oh, man.
This individual.
Yeah, you are fucking.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop it there because. So this is from Raw News Alerts here. Attempting to smuggle an illegal immigrant in a government vehicle that happened on Sunday. The presence of a firearm in the soldier's possession led to an escalation of the smuggling charge. Sources suggest that he was promised $5,000 to $6,000 to transport the individual. So we have our own National Guard now. I really need to get a sounder or a graphic on my screen. You know, like for things like that Joe Biden tweet I showed earlier. I need to get like a "this is treason" sounder. This is treason and should be punished appropriately. Yeah. Okay, so on Saturday, let's get into some celebrity news, why don't we? On Saturday, we talked about, I'm sure, your favorite hip hop star. Your favorite hip hop star put out a statement that said she was quitting. Well, folks, now she's clarifying how she was quitting.
I want to make this video because I just need to clarify. When I say I quit, I mean I quit giving any negative energy attention. What I'm not going to quit is the joy of my life, which is making music, which is connecting to people. Because I know I'm
The joy of your life is clearly sugar. It's clearly sugar. I've seen you dance. Like the only way you have not lost 300 pounds is if you're eating 6,000 calories per meal. Like you literally have to be eating entire birthday cakes every day to stay this big. And I'm sorry to everyone whose lunch is ruined or whatever by seeing this video. Like, please put a bra on, ma'am.
not alone. In no way, shape, or form am I the only person.
Yeah, she quit giving energy to haters. That's what she's saying. She quit giving energy to haters. You know, here at Miles Culture Plate, we like to say outlast the haters, but we also say be fucking honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Don't live in a delusion. And so, oh, I ain't quitting. Okay, well, you know, don't quit. Do your passion, you know. Live. But at the same time, quit preaching to us about how we're just haters. I have a good friend who had to have a sit down talk with his daughter about quote unquote body positivity and why it really isn't healthy and why the people she might be attracted to really might not be attracted to that. It's insane. This is insanity. And the fact that it took her 3 days to come up with this clarification is really telling. I think maybe she was intending to quit, but then someone got in her ear and reminded her of the money.
And who is experiencing that negative voice that seems to be louder than the positive. If I can just give
Sanglant, do you think she's going to set off the big one?
one person the inspiration or motivation to stand up for themselves and say they quit letting negative people win, negative comments win, then I've done even more than I could have hoped for. With that being said, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep being me. Once again, I just want to say thank you. The love that I've received,
Okay.
whew, means more than you know.
So we started this show talking about Ed Piskor and the tragedy of being bullied off the internet. The tragedy of being bullied and not being able to control what people say about you and how people feel about you. And to some degree, I can respect what Lizzo's doing here to some degree. But part of the issue is her message is negative, right? She says she's not going to give negativity. She quits giving negativity control over her life. Well, your life is negativity. You know, you have this whole scandal of her backup dancers being quote unquote forced to eat bananas out of strippers' vajayjays, allegedly. And the sexual harassment some of her staff may have felt. One other story, just like the Top Gear host. What about the Top Gear hosts? Anyway, one other story we covered Sunday that I thought needed just a quick update. Donald Trump had a lot of responses to the White House declaring this past Sunday, March 31st, as Transgender Visibility Day. A lot of people had a lot of opinions about that. And we kind of covered the insanity of that on this show and why the propaganda was bait, right? They were trying to bait Republicans into responding. And luckily, a lot of the right-wing media that I saw rightly called it out as you're trying to bait us, and that's what's wrong. Like, we know that you're poking the bear here and that you're purposefully shitting on religion in order to enrage us, to make us look unhinged. But this shows you who's really the unhinged one. But Donald Trump had a good response to it. This is a very short clip I'm going to play real quick. Here we go.
We're going to win the White House, and we are going to save our country. We're going to save our country. And what the hell was Biden thinking when he declared Easter Sunday to be Trans Visibility Day? Such total disrespect to Christians. And November 5th is going to be called something else. You know what it's going to be called? Christian Visibility Day, when Christians turn out in numbers that nobody has ever seen before. Let's call it Christian Visibility Day, all right? I've just come from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay, we'll cut that there. So yeah, we will now November November 5th, I think. Election day is November 5th, right? Remember 5th of November. Uh, Interesting that it falls on that day this year. Yeah, November 5th, Election Day is Christian Visibility Day. So Trump may not be the current president, but he is making a holiday declaration there. Christian Visibility Day is now November 5th, 2024. All right, folks, we'll get into let's get into some of the viral clips, and then I'll bounce back to internet controversies, and then we'll go back to viral clips. It's a little different than we usually do here on the show. Usually we save the viral clips for the end of the show, but this is very relevant to the next topic. So I wanted to bring this up first. You may have noticed the title of the video, and I always like to make the title of the video relevant to one thing in the show here. Bill Dozer says earbuds died and have munchkins awake and aware. Okay, well, sorry if I used bad language, but it happens. My apologies. All right, so let's see what this lady has to say about our society that we men have built.
Completely. Pretty soon
Oh,
men are exhausting. The whole patriarchy is exhausting. We even tried to go along with it, and it's still not enough.
wait, when did you try to go along with it? You look like you're maybe 42, 43 years old. When did you try to go along with the patriarchy?
So we're just going to pull back completely. Pretty soon we're just going to ignore all of them. Just every single sentence that comes out of their mouth, we're just going to look the other way. We're just going to
Okay, so no accountability as usual. No accountability as usual. We're just going to ignore you. I mean, you've been doing that. That's part of the problem.
walk away because we're so done. We're so fed up. They created patriarchy. They created a system where women could stay in the house, and they said,
Wait, they? Who's they? Who's they? Who created it? Who created it? Since the beginning of time, men and women have had to live together, right? We've had to support each other. We've had to utilize our strengths and our weaknesses in a combined effort to make the best life we possibly could with what resources we could jointly gather and enhance. Women weren't, it wasn't a system where women could stay in the house. It was literally, you needed someone strong and powerful, someone whose genetics and biology was built for rugged terrain, slaughtering animals, carrying heavy things back from the fields in the forests, hunters and gatherers. Men did the hunting and the gathering. You tended to the house. It wasn't a system created by men. It was a system created by necessity. It was a system created by, I don't even want to say evolutionary, but a biological need of the species to have as many healthy people move forward through a harsh world. Okay, let's continue.
hey, we'll be the providers and you take care of the children. Meanwhile, it was just to have access to our body and to make sure that nobody else did.
Really? Fucking really? Really? You're gonna shit on the idea that if a man is the sole provider, then at the very least he's deserves some monogamy and loyalty. Yeah, that's oppressive to you. That's oppressive to you to be literally completely taken care of. You just have to be loyal and provide some love and affection to the person doing so. Notice at no point in time, I mean, she says, she acts like these things were forced upon women, but all too often it was society forcing these things upon men, teaching men they have to be the responsible party, teaching men that they weren't real men unless they were able to care for a family. This wasn't, this was consensual. This was women agreeing to the social contract for what it was. And was every woman happy? Probably not. But what was the alternative? They strap on a bow or a gun. They live out in the woods, hunt their own food, and make their own shelter and build. And I'm sure there were quite a few women who were able to do that and to do trading and trapping. But the idea that men just grabbed women by the hair and drug them back to the cave, and that's where they stayed until 1990, this is ridiculous.
So we did that. We stayed in the home and we said, hey, can you provide? And they're like, wait a minute, these bills are getting pretty high. Can you go out and get a job? And we're like,
Chicken or egg, woman? Chicken or egg? Right? Did the economy start to suck before women entered the workplace? Now, granted, there was the Great Depression. Yes, there were aspects of the economy that sucked, but the solution wasn't for women to enter the workplace. Right? That was a natural progression that came out of women's right to vote and women asking for more privileges from society, becoming landowners, entering the workplace, working side by side with men. Now, I have my own little theory that may seem just a touch racist or sexist, but that doesn't make it wrong. And I correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think part of the issue is we've had an insane inflation. And around the same point where we took the dollar off the gold standard, we were making all these changes in banking, right? We were getting in and out of the Vietnam War. Okay, we gave women and black folks the right to work, gave them the right to vote, and these things progressed throughout society throughout the 20th century. And eventually, this influx of people with their newfound freedom were able to enter the marketplace. Now, what happens? You have to inflate the money supply, right? You have all these people working, and they're still taking them home to the same families that are spending the same amount of cash on the same goods. You need more growth in the economy. You can't have a growth in the labor market and then contract the economy. You had to have growth. That growth led to inflation. That inflation led to hyperinflation. And therefore, what once was the American dream of a husband being able to work one income and bring home the bacon to his wife and 3.5 children and a dog quickly became, well, now both parents have to work to support one kid or no kids. So now here we are. Was it the chicken or the egg? Was it men saying bills are so high you better go to work, honey? Or was it women entering the workplace, growing the economy, and therefore prices going up? It's a good question to ask. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, we love you so much in the family. So we went and got a job. And then they guilted us for getting that job and called it breaking up the family. They called it feminism. They called it a government psyop. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. None of it makes any sense. We pushed out babies from our bodies and they took their last name. They
Okay, now wait a minute. I let that go too long. Hang on, let me go back.
that job and
They
called it
guilted us into quitting that job and called it breaking up the family. Woman, who quit their job, right? Was it the family-oriented women who decided that they would listen to that propaganda from the patriarchy that they should quit their job so that they don't break up the family? No, what happened was divorce rates skyrocketed. Families were broke up anyway, and then women went to the courts with their hands out saying, I need alimony and child support. That's really what happened. The families did break up. And calling it a government
They
psyop.
called it feminism. They called it a government psyop.
Well, again, women went to the polls, they voted. They voted for collectivist and feminist policies. Those politicians installed, right, appointed feminist and Marxist judges and passed these kind of laws that we live under today that continue to break up our families. So calling it a government psyop makes it sound like, CIA, MK Ultra mixing up weird acid chemicals to fuck with your brain. While that may happen, this is a different kind of psyop, right? This is a little different. This was you, ladies, voting for these politicians who wanted to promote what you said you wanted. And it did break up the families. So to act like the patriarchy or conspiracy theorists who just hate the idea that women are free, come on. Come on.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. None of it makes any sense. We pushed out babies from our bodies and they took their last name. They took their last name. Make it make sense.
So, oh my God. I don't know where to begin with this last name thing. My thoughts are all over the map on this last name thing. I mean, traditions happen. We have weird cultural traditions, and maybe they're all government psyops, right? There's the whole, we just went through Easter. What do eggs and bunnies and chickens have to do with Jesus Christ? But we get these weird traditions, so we paint colored eggs and hide them from our kids so our kids could run around the yard and find little colored eggs in our yard that might be full of candy, or they could be full of actual egg yolk. Surprise. We get these weird traditions. Who's to say? I mean, look, the last name thing is so that when a father goes and dies in a war, at least something gets carried on to remember him by his last name. There are lots of reasons why the male heir continuing the last name of his father's gene line makes fucking sense. Now, you could make similar arguments for women. I'm not saying it has to be men, but that is the practice that was developed naturally by our cultures over generations. Make it make sense. Well, make your ignorance of the entire topic of a patriarchy make sense.
They want us to have a job, children, house, low body count, and it's never enough. So we pull all the way back and
It's never enough. No, that's literally it. That doing those things is enough. I go back to, what do you want from men, right? You say these things, but to be honest, what do most women want from men? They want the 6 foot tall, 6-figure, 6-inch penis. They want every other woman to want their man, but they want their man to never look at any of the other women. And not only does he have to make 6 figures, it has to be at a respectful, you can't do it slinging drugs, although some of them are attracted to the bad boys, right? Some of them want the felons and the tattoo, which is another thing. Yeah, you got to be making 6 figures and have your shit together, but yet also, neck tattoos and facial piercings. So, you can't get an actual 6-figure job. No, that's what's hot though. That's what's hot. And so, yeah, it's still not good enough. Well, what about what's good enough for today's women?
still not good enough. They're never going to be happy because they never want to take accountability. They just want more and more and more. And what happens when you get greedy? Everything falls apart.
Yes, it's obviously men who are greedy in this. So I brought that up mostly because that is going to be a springboard for the next topic. And the next topic is going to be Charlie Kirk. Right now on the internet, on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, there are a lot of people with a lot of opinions about two things that Charlie Kirk said in a speech the other night. Let's listen to them back to back.
We've basically told a great generation of young women, don't get married, don't have kids, go get a corporate job. And it's created mass political hysteria. And then in their early 30s, they get really upset because they say, the boys don't want to date me anymore because they're not at their prime. And people get mad when I say that. Well, it's just true. If you're in your early 30s, I'm sorry. It's like you're not as attractive in the dating pool as you were in the early 20s. But again, you have your corporate job and cats. So I thought, we've basically told
Okay.
a great
Okay. So obviously he's doing the Pearl Davis bit, right? That women aren't as attractive in their 30s as they are in their 20s, that you're past your prime. He's doing the Pearl Davis bit. The problem is he's not Pearl Davis. Even Pearl Davis doesn't play it off very well, right? But he's not Pearl Davis. So this is not going to be well received. This is like a white person saying the ninja word, right? Just because someone says it, that they're part of that community, doesn't give you the right to then, hey, this is my belief too. No. Unfortunately, us patriarchal white males aren't really allowed to have those opinions. You can have those personal opinions. And look, I'm not even saying he's wrong. I'm saying the optics, and right now, conservatives are so split on this. The optics are so bad because these are the voices of our conservative movement that are more concerned with whether or not a 30-year-old woman is hot enough, when all the other things he said in that clip about, waiting till they're in their late 30s to marry, these are all more important issues than whether or not a woman's in her prime. But he felt the need to drop that grenade in the middle of the conversation. Be careful with these grifters, folks. One more clip, and this one's a little more important because we're going to explore these things a little further.
A lot of them are on birth control too. And birth control really screws up female brains, by the way. Every single one of you need to make sure that your loved ones are not on birth control. It increases depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Birth control is the number one most prescribed medication for young ladies under the age of 25. They will give young ladies birth control for pimples, for acne, to control their moods, their period. It is awful. It's terrible. And it creates very angry and bitter young ladies and young women. That bitterness then manifests into a political party that is the bitter party. I mean, the Democrat Party is all about bring us your bitterness and, we'll give you free stuff. It's like, we'll trade you, bitterness for stuff, essentially. That's like the Democrat Party. A lot.
Okay, so once again, he's correct. He's 100% right. The problem is, it's him. Charlie Kirk gets paid to go around and give speeches. He's not a doctor, he's not a woman, and yet he's talking about things that doctors do to women. Now, granted, I think we should be allowed to talk about such things. But he also needs to be careful how he addresses them. Inviting a doctor on stage and having a conversation with the doctor would have been way more effective than what he just did. Don't take birth control, it's evil. Well, okay. And then you have idiots like David Hogg. Birth control doesn't screw up people's brains, but you know what does? Listening to 30-year-old bigots who've made a career pandering to 13-year-old boys telling them what makes them a man is hating women. Now, granted, he's fucking wrong. He's fucking wrong. But you know what? 50% of our country are so dumb that they also believe this. They also believe this. We got Viva Frey showing the brain studies. Got myself here. This is me. I just Googled side effects of birth control. We got mood changes, decreased libido, depression, fatigue, irritability. Redheaded libertarian, gonna need community notes on this. So, this could be a W for Charlie Kirk, but also it's an election year. Why are we talking about birth control? Why are we talking about women, whether or not women are in their prime in their 30s? Why are these fucking issues? This is an election year and we are being invaded. We're being invaded. Our economy is being looted. Our government is loyal to foreign assets. And one of our presidential candidates is being literally drugged through courthouse after courthouse after courthouse trying to throw him in jail. But hey, let's talk about birth control. And then here we got Savannah Hernandez with her responses to Charlie Kirk. I haven't really listened to much of this.
To never break my silence on this issue because it's so vitriolic, but the time has come, especially since we're seeing a lot of the commentary surrounding birth control. And once again, women not being in their prime in their 30s, but being in their prime in their 20s. Now, these are both sentiments that I actually agree with. However, and this is a PSA for all men on the right wing, we really need to work on our delivery of our messaging to women. There is a reason why women are leaning more towards liberalism and men are leaning more towards conservatism. And there is a reason why men are drawn more to that Andrew Tate-esque style of commentary and women are averse to it. Because guess what? Men and women...
Okay, I've heard enough. Look, she's not wrong. I agree with her. She has mostly the same take I literally just gave. But let's be honest here. Shitting on Andrew Tate's not the answer either. Oh my God. I just reopened closed tab. There we go. Okay. Shitting on Andrew Tate and shitting on content like this isn't the answer either. And to be honest, it's the setting for me. It's doing it in front of a crowded audience, right? Doing it live. If you're doing it in a studio like I'm doing now, if you're just pontificating, right? It's one thing. But giving a speech as if you're an expert on a stage in front of an audience, keep that to your expert topics. If you want to do Joe Rogan style in front of a camera at a desk, you want to do it like Alex Jones and just say, hey, yeah, I heard this birth control is some pretty gnarly stuff, man. Do it that way. Did chat blow up? All of a sudden we have a lot less viewers. Did my stream die? Oh, we're still live. Okay. Y'all just got quiet all of a sudden and yeah, the viewer numbers went down. Okay, we're going to be approaching the end of the show pretty soon. So let's get into the gender crazy of the week. I guess that those last few clips were part of the conversation about being crazy over gender, huh? But yeah, let's get into the gender crazy of the week as we do every Wednesday. So first off, This one's not really a gender crazy. This is more of a society is crazy, and gender just happens to be part of this conversation. I saw this video, and this is probably an old video, but I was horrified. I was horrified when I saw this. Check out what this chick says to her friend when she gives an honest answer to a question.
How many genders are there?
I feel like there's two because like
No,
transgender.
stop. Don't say that on camera.
Yeah, but I
Stop. Don't say that on camera.
feel like you either switch from a boy to a girl.
No,
and
stop,
you can
stop,
switch
stop,
back and forth.
Stop. I feel like
I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, but I feel like they switch back and forth. Like I know
Stop it.
Yeah, but, like, it
No,
doesn't
no, no.
really
It's
matter.
okay. Whatever you want to be, it doesn't
You can be
matter.
anything you want to be. It doesn't matter. Come on,
Yeah.
stop.
Wait, I'm sorry.
How many genders are there?
This is literally the speech police at work. This girl is so afraid that her friend is going to get canceled, that her friend is going to get Ed Piscord, right? For the wrong think and the wrong speech. You know, that the internet is going to make this woman famous for having the wrong opinion. And maybe I'm guilty of that. Maybe I'm making her famous for having the right opinion, but you know, she's probably been harassed. Okay, and further gender crazy, we had the Masters National Weightlifting Championships this weekend in Reno, Nevada. You ready to see the winner? You ready to see the winner of the women's weightlifting Masters National Weightlifting Championship in Reno, Nevada? You ready to see the winner? Oh, this is your beautiful lady right here in the middle. First place. First place. Got old Vicky right here. Just look at that smile. So feminine. So feminine. So awesome. So awesome. Okay. I think that is the gender crazy of the week. Yeah. All the other stuff. Wait, that can't be right. I swear I had one more. Hang on. Let me check my bookmarks real quick. Let me go through my bookmarks. No. Okay. No, I guess I thought I had another one. I do not. So yeah, one last video I wanted to show real quick before we go. Over the last couple weeks, a lot of people have been talking about this documentary out there. Actually, they've been talking about a few documentaries, but there's a documentary out there called Quiet on Set, and it's about a couple of individuals, several individuals actually, who used to work for Nickelodeon Studios, the television network Nickelodeon, and how they may or may not have had inappropriate relations with children. At least one or two have been confirmed and arrested. But now, I guess I'll kind of give a little review on my own. This documentary series is like 4 hours long, and there's this real heavy focus on the one guy. Now I forget his damn name in the moment, but there's the real focus on the one guy. And a lot of the stories just seemed like, okay, well, that's kind of what dudes did in the 90s. But then there were all these like little stories about people who actually did horrific things and were arrested and like actually raped children. But then it kept going back to David Schneider. Yeah, it kept going back to, well, then David Schneider said something that made a woman upset. Okay. No, I'm not saying David Schneider's, or was his name David Schneider? What was his name? Damn it. Yeah, Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider. Yeah, that's right. Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider. Okay, so yeah. It kept going back to Dan Schneider. Well, yeah, he was an asshole. Okay, so he was an asshole. That doesn't mean he was molesting children. And yeah, he may have fucked up a lot of children's brains. Well, speaking of Nickelodeon stars with fucked up brains, we've had yet another breakthrough. As newly LGBT icon JoJo Siwa is now dressing like this, right? This once was the poppy, bright colored, and this is them now. This is her now. Woke LGBT Hollywood, not even once. This is the person influencing your children. Not even once. Okay, folks. I think that's going to be it for today. I would ask you all. Single 86 says, "Did they get Feet Man Schneider?" Yeah, I guess that was one of the allegations, is that he really had a focus on feet. But that is evidenced by like 3 clips over his like 20-year career. So you got me. No, I don't think they got him, but they got him in the public arena. And I think that's the more important victory, right? Because anymore, they don't care if they go to jail. They don't care if someone goes to jail. In fact, going to jail is getting off easy. Right? They want to drag you through the media until you wind up like Ed Piskor. Anywho. So yeah, if y'all could take just a moment, click that like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. Catch one of my future shows. Catch one of my old shows. The algorithm really likes it when you watch more than one. So do me that favor. If you're new here, just take that moment. Also, if you enjoy this programming and think other people would enjoy this programming, please share this to other platforms. Consider following me in the social media down in the description if you're on Rumble or YouTube. And yeah. See, I think that's about it, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Please call somebody for help if you have trouble outlasting the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub it in real good. I'll catch you next time here on Miles Culture Plate. Should be this Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, unless I decide to do a special show. Again, I just real quick, I wanted to give everybody a heads up that, yeah, I do have a special show I got brewing in my mind. You know, we got into a nice discussion about polyamory the last couple shows. And I really want to give a full breakdown of everything I think about monogamy and relationships. And you know, I think doing one of my Patriot philosopher streams might really help push the conversation along. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, you can follow me down on my social media, and if one of those shows, if I do decide to do an impromptu show, if you follow me on the social media, it'll let you know it's there. Sangling 86 says, "I'm surprised Billy Ray hasn't hurt himself." Yeah, having a daughter that went through the Nickelodeon machine. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll catch you next time on Miles Culture Plate. Take care, everybody. Good night.